As I approach my bus, I'm going to make sure that it's sitting level, front to back, and right to left. After doing so, I am going to go check my passenger entry. So I'm going to check my passenger entry to make sure that it's securely mounted, that the door opens and closes freely, that the glass is not broken or damaged, and that the seals are all intact and in good shape. I'm going to check my exterior and my interior step lights to make sure that they are the proper color and securely mounted. I'm going to check my flooring to make sure it's securely screwed down to the floor and it's grooved and not smooth. I will check my handrails to make sure that they are securely mounted, not bent, damaged, or missing. As I'm entering the bus, straight above my head is the first aid kit. I'm going to make sure that it is secure to the front of the bus and that it is fully stocked. I'm going to check my body fluid cleanup kit the same way and make sure it is secure and fully stocked. Behind the driver's seat, I have 3 reflective triangles. Under the dash, I have a securely mounted, fully charged fire extinguisher. And outside this window is the panel of circuit breakers that run this bus. At this time, I'm going to check my windshield. I'm going to make sure that there are no obstructions and no illegal stickers, that there is no damage to my glass or to the seals around the windshield. I will also check my mirrors, my rear view, west coast and convex mirrors, and make sure that they are all adjusted for me. I'm going to do the backup brake motor check by pushing on the brake pedal, and you will hear the motor, electric motor sound. And now I'm going to do the safe start. I will turn my key to the on position, and I'm going to wait for the wait to start light and ABS light to go out. And they both have. So now I will start my bus. The first thing I'm going to do with my engine running is I'm going to do the hydraulic brake check. To do the hydraulic brake check, I will pump 3 times on my brake pedal and hold it for 5 seconds or more after the 3rd pump. 1, 2, 3, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. And my brake pedal did not move or fall to the floor, which indicates that my hydraulic brakes are working properly. Next, I will do my parking brake check. I will make sure that my parking brake is engaged and that the dash light tells me so. I will put my foot on the brake, put the transmission in drive, and I will lightly accelerate to make sure that the bus does not move. And it does not. My next test is the service brake. To check the service brake, I'm only going to tell the examiner what we would do. We would release the parking brake, put the transmission in drive, we would drive forward 5 miles an hour, and then we would apply the brakes. The bus should stop completely and not pull left nor right. Now I'm going to check my stepwell heater. I will take and put it on low. I'm going to lean over and I'm going to touch it. I'm looking to hear the fan blowing and feel the air moving. Then I will put it on high. And again, I'm touching and I'm feeling and listening for the air movement that is happening. Next, I'll check my defroster. Again, on low and on high. I'm going to check my dash indicator lights. We'll start with my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my four-way flashers, my high beam indicator. My DEF tank should have at least 1/8 of a tank. And my amber light dash indicators here and here are showing. And when I open the door, my red student loading light indicators are on the dash and on the side. This time we're going to check our windshield wipers and washers. I want to make sure that my wiper arms are both secured to the bus. The blades are secure to the wiper arms and making proper contact with the windshield. I will check them on low and I will check them on high. At the same time, I will check to make sure that we have windshield washer fluid and that that is working correctly. I will also check to make sure that the horn is working properly. Now I'm going to get up and check my seating. This time I'm going to check my seats. I want to make sure that the brackets are secure to the floor of the bus, that the cushions are secure to the brackets, and then I'll check all the seats all the way back the same way. If this vehicle was equipped with a lift, I would check it at this time for proper operation. Since it's not, we will start with our emergency exits. I'm going to make sure that the rear evacuation door opens. Properly, that the alarm sounds, and that it is labeled correctly across the door and on the glass and on the door. Coming forward, I'm going to check my emergency exit window. I will lift the handle, push out on the glass, bring it back, and close it off. Again, it is properly labeled and making the proper sound. I will check the other emergency exit the same as I did the first one. Now I'm going to check the hatch. I will turn the handle to make sure that the emergency buzzer goes off, that it is properly labeled, and if I needed to evacuate, I would open completely all the way, flip it open, and we could escape out through there. Now I'm going to turn my vehicle off. And since we checked the student light mirrors on the dash, I need to walk to the back and deactivate the child check system. Once I've seen that my lights have flashed several times, I know it's deactivated and I can safely go out the door. I will open the hood latch. And I'm going to open the hood. First, I'll check my brake fluid reservoir or the master cylinder. I'm going to make sure that it's secure and that it is between add and full. Next, I will go to the oil dipstick. I would pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, pull it back out, and the stick should read between add and full. Following that, I'll go to my coolant reservoir. I'll make sure that the whole reservoir is secure to the bus and that it's not leaking and that the level is between add and full. Now I will go to my power steering reservoir. It also has a dipstick on top, and I would check it the same as I did the oil. Now I'm going to check the steering box. I'm going to make sure that the box is not damaged or leaking and that it is properly secured. I will check the hoses coming off of it to make sure they are properly clamped, no pinholes, and no leaks. I will check my steering linkage, all the links, arms, and rods to make sure that they are not damaged, not bent, not missing, and that there are no missing nuts, bolts, or cotter pins. While I'm still standing on this side, I'm going to check all my hoses to make sure that they are all properly clamped, there are no pinholes, and no leaks. On this side, I'm going to check all my hoses as I did on the other side. Now I'm going to check my suspension. I will start with my shock absorber. I'll make sure it's securely mounted top and bottom, no missing nuts, bolts, and it's not leaking. Next thing I'm going to check is my spring mounts, my front and my rear spring mounts. I'm going to make sure that they're not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. I'm going to check my leaf springs to make sure that they're not cracked, broken, shifted, no missing nuts, bolts, or any U-bolts. Next thing will be the brake system. I'm going to check my brake lines and hoses going into the wheel to make sure that they are properly clamped and not leaking. Coming to the front, I will check my brake pads. I'm going to make sure that they're thick, not thin, and that there are no contaminants or oils on them. At this time, I'm going to check my tires. I will check the tread depth to make sure it is no less than 4/32 of an inch, and I would check that with a tread depth gauge. I'm going to make sure that my tread is evenly worn all around the tire, that the inner and outer side of the tire has no bumps, no bubbles, no bad abrasions or cuts, and that the valve stem is easily accessible, capped, and I would check my pressure here with a tire pressure gauge. Now we're going to check the rims. We're going to make sure that they're not cracked, bent, or broken, that there are no illegal welds anywhere, and that there are no elongated holes. The lug nuts should all be present with no broken studs and no signs of looseness, such as a shiny threads or a deep rust trail. At this point, I'm going to close the hood and check on the other side of the vehicle. I'm going to make sure that I latch the passenger entry side of the hood. I'm going to come around and latch the other side of the hood as well. While standing here, I'm going to check my mirror bracket. I'm going to make sure that the bracket is secured to the bus, that the mirrors are both secure to the bracket, and that the glass is intact, not damaged or missing. I'm going to open the battery box. I want to make sure that the box itself is secure to the bus, that the batteries are secure inside the box, and that the wiring is not frayed or damaged and all tightened down. As I'm coming around to the front of the vehicle, I will check all the other mirrors as I check this one I did here. Coming around on the right side of my vehicle, I'm going to come and check my DEF tank. I'm going to make sure that the tank is secure to the frame, that the cap is on tight, and when I look underneath, that there are no puddles which would indicate a leak. Coming down the bus, straight down. I'm going to check my main frame, which run the length of the bus, and my cross members, which run across the bus. I'm going to make sure they're not damaged, they're not bent, and that there are no broken welds. Continuing on, I'm going to check my fuel tank. I will check the fuel tank the same as I did my DEF tank in the front. Now I'm going to come in and turn my bus to the on position. I will turn the key one click to the right without turning the engine on. I'm doing this so I can activate my lamp check button, which is located over here to the left of the steering wheel. I push it one time, and now we'll go outside and check all the lights. Now from the front, I'm going to check all my lights for proper operation and color. Again, I'm checking my clearance lights, my amber lights, my student loading lights, my right turn signal upper and lower, my left turn signal upper and lower, my low beams, and my high beams. All right, so now coming down the right side of the vehicle, I'm going to check my clearance lights. They're yellow in the front, red in the back. I'm going to check my two side right turn signals or four-way flashers. I'm going to check my two yellow reflectors up front and my red reflector out back. I'm going to check all my reflective tape to make sure it's all secure and in good working order. Coming around to the rear of the bus, I'm going to check the operation of my lights on this side. Starting at the top, I have red clearance lights, I have amber student lights, I have red loading lights, I have my brake lights, red and tail lights, my left turn signal, my right turn signal, and my reflectors are all around the door and the two red reflectors in the back, which are the proper color. Coming around to the left side of the bus, again, I'm going to check my clearance lights. They're yellow up front and red in the back. I'm going to check my left turn signal and the other four-way flasher. I'm going to check my red reflector in the rear, my two yellow reflectors up front, and all my reflective tape going down the side of the vehicle. Now we're going to go inside and activate the crossing gate and the stop arm. Now I'm going to come up onto the vehicle. I am going to activate the override switch so that my stop arm and my crossing gate will open. I will exit the bus. As I come around the front, I'm checking my crossing arm or crossing gate for proper operation. It's open all the way out. It's not damaged, it's not bent, and it's not missing. Continuing around, I'm going to check my stop arm to make sure that it has fully come out, that the lights are working both on the front and in the rear, that the lenses are good, not cracked or missing, and the wiring is intact, not frayed or damaged. At this time, I'm going to step back so I can see the strobe light up on top of the vehicle, and I'm going to make sure that it's working properly. And this concludes our pre-trip inspection.